This week we're going to take a look at creating a database within Microsoft Access. So from your desktop, let's go ahead and open Microsoft Access. And you'll notice it comes up with either creating a blank database, or it'll give you some pre-formatted databases for specific types of things like task management, contacts, and so forth. We're just going to go ahead and click on the blank database and give it a name of, at this point, test. Click on create, and what it'll do, come up and give you a default table name. So we're going to create an employees table. So when you right click on the tab up here, you'll get two views, design view and datasheet view. The last one we'll take a look at here in a minute. So in the design view, click on that and it'll give you a save as. Let's go ahead and call this employees. Go ahead and hit OK, and you'll see it changes the default name, and it brings up with creating the field matrix here. It defaults, we'll explain primary key later on in the class, but it defaults to ID and an auto number, which is a sequential number generated as a primary key by Access. We're going to change this to create it as employee ID and give it a, when you hit the drop down here, you can create number, currency, short text, long. Leave this as short text. You really don't need it as a number because you're not going to use it for sorting purposes or or addition or subtraction. Let's go ahead and fill out the rest of the fields here. And we'll just take the short text default here. So you'll notice I'm not using a space in between the words. The book will give you an example of using spaces. The reason I don't do this is because if you use the database for programming via like Visual Basic or other languages in the future, that space will create specific problems from a programmatical standpoint. And also, like zip code, we're not going to store it as a number because you're not going to do calculations on it. So we've defined our basic employee information here. We could add a lot more to that, obviously, but another thing to look at is description, which is optional. In this case, these fields are pretty much self-explanatory, but if you have a field name that needs explanation, do it briefly over here. It helps when people are looking at your table definitions. Let's go ahead and save. And at this point, you save this table as employees. So now to enter a couple records in here, you go up here again and right-click on the Employees tab, and you'll see what we looked at before, Data Sheet View. Let's go ahead and click on that. And now you'll see the structure's been created for you. And we're going to put a couple rows in here. And just hit enter to go take you down to a new line for the next record. You can tab between the field columns. So Nick, you can get down and create one-to-many records for this specific table. So at this point, let's go ahead and hit save. And now we've created our first table in our initial database.